I think it's important to point out that there's undoubtedly going to be an increase in that minimum wage anyway. The Fair Work Commission will do that. Even employer groups are suggesting up to 3%. So it's just a matter of going that full inflation figure and being so blatant about it that really puts Anthony Albanese's economic judgment under pressure. Let's have a look at what your leader, Scott Morrison, had to say about Albanese today.
He's playing you for a mug. He thinks he can run around at this election, say he can increase people's wages and at the same time see cost of living pressures fall and pressure on interest rates to remain down. Well, it just doesn't work like that, Anthony. You either don't know what you're talking about and you're not up to the job, or you're taking the Australian people for a ride, and I've called you out.
Yeah, it's a pretty good attack there because it is complex, of course, and that's why the Fair Work Commission will look at a number of factors. I mean, if we could fix cost of living pressures just by giving everybody higher wages, that's what we'd do all the time. But, of course, keeping inflation at bay and not feeding the inflation beast and the cost of living pressures is just as delicate a balance.
Well, Anthony Albanese reckons he was an economics advisor to the Hawke government. I'm starting to think actually he might have been an economic advisor to the Whitlam government, because we've gone through this nightmare before in terms of what Gough Whitlam got up to between 1972 and 1975. This is pure peak madness. It is pure left-wing peak madness. And I'm concerned not just about the policy direction, but also the ability and the capability of Anthony Albanese to deal with these very complex issues. Being Prime Minister is a tough job. And I just have to question, is he up to the job? Does he have the team behind him? Because at the moment, a lot of the team are doing a bit of a, what I call a Queensland crab walk. They're crab walking away from him because they are a little bit worried that he's going to become Prime Minister and he's going to be setting the economic policy for this country. Be afraid, Australia. Be very afraid.
Well, we'd love to have him on for a chat. We keep asking. We won't get him. It'd be nice to chat to Anthony Albanese, but there's whole swathes of the population he decides he doesn't need to talk to. I want to get your thoughts as a former campaign professional about the latest ad. I think Peter Cretland had this on his show last night. It's essentially a Liberal Party ad unpicking and putting into context the "it's not my job, it's not my job" mantra Labor have been throwing at Scott Morrison. Have a look.
That's not my job.
Why haven't you personally lost patience with Dan Andrews?
Because that's not my job. My job is to keep focused on the challenge that I have to protect Australians every single day. That's not my job, or whatever it happens to be. It's their money. It's their choice. I'm not going to go around telling Australians how to spend their own money. That's not my job. They're quite able to know what they should be doing with their own money, and it's not my job to do that. But this is going to be really tough. I mean, these things are going to break our hearts, but it's not going to break our spirit.
Are you frightened?
It's not my job to do that.
Are you overwhelmed?
It's my job to be, not at all. Look, in situations like this, you've just got to act on the information, make decisions and communicate clearly.
It's a fascinating and unusual bit of political advertising, actually expanding on a Labor attack ad. What are your thoughts on it, James?
Well, sadly, it's not a Labor attack ad. It's a Labor ad full of lies. And what we've seen in this campaign, whether it is the disgraceful lies being run by Albanese and Jim Chalmers and co in relation to pensioners being forced on a cashless debit card, to the lies they're spreading about the Prime Minister, sometimes as a political party, we have to draw a line in the sand and say, nah, we are calling you out on this, which we do all the time, but we're actually going to pay money, put our money behind what we believe in and call out their lies, and that's what this ad is all about. I mean, we did something similar in Queensland in 2012 when Labor ran a disgraceful grubby campaign against Campbell Newman's family, and we had him doing something similar. So, good on for the federal Liberals for doing this, but shame on the Labor Party for being a pack of liars.
Thanks for joining us, Senator. Appreciate your time as ever.